not know that about you.
Yeah.
I guess we don't get much of this at home.
Oh, we have a whole.
Oh.
Who was like that? No, excuse me, the gentleman who wants to buy, and I got to hook into the swap meet. And there's two vendors, so they're bad right there because they never see.
There you go.
I was muting myself, it's kind of like the opposite of safe nature, which is brighter colors, you know, more you danger.
That's awesome.
Well, perhaps also a more that's exactly.
Oh, yeah,
It's exactly true.
And I will counter with the psychological pleasure probably.
See, I had
outweighs
one
the
boy trained
physical
okay,
detriment.
but the other one, and see, I needed to practice with him.
Yeah,
Tell you what,
yeah.
I blame myself, but it's okay.
Honestly, I will
They'll
say
get
that
there.
there is
He's gonna
seems to
get
be
there, 100%.
something to that.
Yeah, I love
fasting, eating dinner.
Back when I was around, they didn't do that breakdown like that. That was really cool to see that breakdown. Yeah,
Then you know right where
it was at.
Yeah.
I need them to do a workshop or something so I can learn the new rules.
Whatever
or
you
some
need
of
to
that.
do, Peter.
That's where I'm a little
We'll help
behind.
you stick to the story.
The basics is still the basics, but I need a breakdown of that new stuff. What I need.
Expenditure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Funds,
It's
yeah.
cool he did so well on his other project, though. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all had a pretty good state conference.
Yeah. I mean, bringing home that many state awards with as many people we sent up there, that's pretty outstanding, really.
Yeah.
You can't complain with that.
Yeah, they've come a long ways.
Yeah.
Okay, I will call city council meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Has everyone signed in on our sign-up sheet? Okay, thank you. At this time, is there any public comment for anything not on our agenda but under the city's jurisdiction? Seeing none, we'll move to the minutes from March 17th, 2026. Those have been distributed to council. Are there any corrections or additions? Seeing and hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
I move we approve the council minutes from March 17th, 2026.
Is there a second?
One second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the city council meeting minutes from March 17th, 2026. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you. Moving into our current business item, the first item is Fire Board Mutual Aid Agreement. Tom Schindel. I presume.
Turn it over to Todd.
Okay. Please state your name for the record.
I'm Todd Kittle. We had I guess, a discussion about the proposed agreement at our last meeting, and there were a few pieces that came from it. Really, we've got two agreements here. One that in this document, one being the MOU for the station, and the other being the actual mutual aid agreement. And in the end, I believe these have been separate documents in the past, and we wondered if in the end maybe they should remain that way, just because they are two very different issues. The MOU on the building, I think, and that relationship is fairly well understood and works very well. When it comes to the mutual aid agreement itself, some of the language that was proposed within it is challenging from the rural district's perspective, especially. These mutual aid agreements really are, most simply put, a statement or agreement that says the city fire has potential resources that could be useful to the county and eventually in an emergency, and the county has potential resources that could be useful to the city in an emergency, if available, and with the understanding that we each, the city and the rural fire district, have first and foremost responsibility to the taxpayers that fund us and the city and the district that we protect, and that in the event of an emergency, if city is out helping county and something would come in to the city, we can't hold them at our call. It's with the understanding that they need to be immediately released to take care of their own jurisdiction and responsibilities, and that same would hold true for the county. And some of the wording that was in the proposed document would restrict the ability of the city or county to potentially to be able to respond to their own jurisdictions, because it's stated in here known versus unknown and so on. And it could happen that one or the other could have a big fire and a second one come in and the resources need to leave. That's a real risk that we both face. And in the past, I think we've worked well together, and the county has tried very hard to leave everything they can on a city emergency if a county call comes in, and I wouldn't foresee that changing, but I think we do have to all understand that the risk is there, that from both perspectives, that all resources from the city or the county may have to respond to their jurisdiction. The probability of that happening at this point in time is probably pretty slim, but it could happen, and it's something that I don't think we can put anything in an agreement that would restrict one or the other from taking care of their jurisdiction and so on. So that's the kind of the nuts and bolts of what we felt needed to change in that agreement. Tom, is there anything to add there?
Not on that part, no. You covered that pretty good.
Anything else at the moment? Okay, council, questions, comments? Yes.
So,
Peter.
to be clear, you're referring specifically to really the last paragraph of the language. In the case of simultaneous city and rural emergencies, the fire chiefs or senior responding officers shall expeditiously determine an appropriate allocation of resources, et cetera, to the end of that sentence. Are you suggesting more of a bright line just in the case of dual emergencies? It is understood that each I don't know how you want to refer to that party, I guess, to the agreement, will respond to their according to fire in their jurisdiction accordingly.
Their first responsibility is their jurisdiction.
Yeah. something like that, rather, so that there's not really conference about it, it's just, they have that ability, and we recognize that both parties recognize that at any time something like that would happen, there would be a loss of resources.
And that conference, under the incident command model that we work under, that conference naturally does take place.
Sure.
To the best of everybody's ability to allocate resources to take care of every incident.
Sure. Okay.
Katie?
Comment from people from you?
So, Nicole?
In this instance, are we talking like if Tossin were to respond to a city call to help as mutual aid? Is that what we're referring to? Or Station 1?
Any rural apparatus.
Because I guess we all belong in that building, we all kind of blend into one color. I'm city and rural.
Correct.
So if I'm on a city call and let's say Aaron, Andrew, Mason, we're all on it, we're also city, then what do we do at that point?
Honestly, it comes down to what apparatus you responded on. Because you're working for, when it comes to workman's comp
Right.
and liability and all that, you're working for.
So if I went in engine 3 and we took engine 2, so we're just gonna ask dispatch at that point to just keep paging then?
One thing,
Cause those are both cities?
who's got the fire? Is it a city fire?
Yep,
or-
because we're taking engine 3 and 2.
The city fire, then city people would more likely have to stay in the rural league. Like if Dawson, you said.
Right, so at that point, we're talking about the outline mutual in this agreement.
Well, we're talking about everything. We're talking about the apparatus that responded, if 111
So
responded,
we
if
should probably
Jaws.
make it like that, so people aren't standing out there going, well, I'm also rural, and then trying to leave the scene.
But
If they're on engine 2.
you're
on a city
working
truck.
for, you are currently wearing the hat of the apparatus that you responded. If it's rural, you're a rural firefighter.
Well,
If
yeah.
you responded on a city engine, you're a city firefighter. That's how, from a liability insurance perspective, that distinguishment has to be made.
Right, so in that distinguishment, we should probably put it in the mutual agreement. If you came in your city as a city firefighter in the city engine, you stay. The ones that came in the brush trucks, tenders can go. Cause that's really who's gonna be leading the city fire if we all responded that way.
Correct. But that's understood by what hat you're wearing when you respond to the fire.
I guess from a drafting perspective for the MOU, though, we're looking to sort of memorialize maybe some of these things that are unspoken, right?
Let's take my turn.
Yeah.
Before we get too deep into this,
Yeah.
because I don't think it's necessary right now. Two things, Mayor. The first, a little bit of historical perspective. The reason that paragraph exists is because the original submitted MOU that came from rural included a statement that said that equipment will leave. Legally, the word will is very strong. And we came up with the circumstance of, we have a situation where it's in the city, both rural and city responded, the jaws of life, which are a rural item, are necessary for that call. What would happen if there was a rural call?